Tonight, the Critics' Choice Association, like so many Hollywood associations, is starting to become extremely woke. It is not a good thing. And I gotta say, for the most part, most of Hollywood has been smart and keeping quiet about the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Michael Keaton and Jamie Lee Curtis came out with statements that, tried to straddle both camps. Noble effort really wasn't necessary. I wish I could say the same about musicians. They were not as smart, and a lot of them are paying the consequence. Hey, we got a whole lot more to talk about as cinematic class is about to begin, and your professor is in. Greetings, salutations, another sundry affair. I am your cinematic professor and purveyor of truth in movies. Before we begin with tonight's festivities, let me remind you that there is currently a 40% sale going on at the official Rex Reel store. This includes everything you'll need for the fall season coming up: hats, shirts, stuff for school, all that good stuff. 40% off now at the official Rex Reel store. Check it out. Stock up today. Hey, it might be time to start thinking about holiday gift giving too. Keep that in mind as well. I don't know how many times I've said this, but the old Steely Dan song constantly rings true. Remember, show business kids making movies of themselves, they don't give a about anybody else, right? And we certainly have that tonight. Poor Kristen Gerwig. For years, this woman lived in her progressive dream world. And then she became pregnant. And after the birth of her first child, reality comes in and those rose-tinted glasses shattered. She realized that all of her ideologies were useless. So what do you do when life hands you that hurdle? Well, you do like most Hollywood producers do. You keep your ideologies alive by making a movie. Now, luckily, this is a short movie. It's up for numerous awards in the film festival circuit, but thankfully it's a short one because she went through such a traumatic experience giving birth to her first child that now it's necessary for her to belittle motherhood. And that's not the best. Are you ready? She blames motherhood and the experience of birthing her child on capitalism. I kid you not. She equates motherhood with cattle ranching and blames greed for this basic element of nature. The movie stars Mia Angelou as Key. She does a nice job in this. Now, Kristen claimed in her publicity for the movie that she made a socially impactful film. That's in quotes. No. It's just another example of a libtard bombasted by the real world. Samuel Clemens is offering his debut feature. It's called The Drowned, and it stars Alan Colton, Laura Lemon, and Lily Catalifo. Now, this movie is really infused, if you will, with Greek mythology. Thieves have stolen a priceless artwork, and they're all to meet at this safe house by the sea. Well, 3 of them show up, the 4th doesn't. What could have happened? Did something happen to this 4th individual? Police, maybe? Or one of the remaining three offing the other ones for a bigger share of the prize. That seems to be the problem, but things become even more bizarre when three voluptuous vixens show up on the shore. You know, when this happens, you can hear Eric Clapton singing the song, "Till you touch the distant shores with tales of brave Ulysses, how his naked ears were tortured by the sirens sweetly singing." And lucky for you, I didn't sing those lines, I just recited them. So you get the idea of what's happening here in this thing. You'll be pleased to know that the sirens are multicultural, so that should make all the liberals happy. Although they left out the Asians. They got ignored for some reason. The movie is interesting, and I like the way they infused the story of the Greek mythology into the modern tale, but it does move a little bit slow, and it may be a little bit of a struggle to get through it. Here's a look now at The Drowned.
Gotta hand it to her, it's remote. Creepy, but remote.
Have you seen her?
Your mom's not here.
We're not sure, but the painting's here. I'm gonna be honest, I think she's gone now.
Gone? Where? I'm just wondering why I was in the bedroom one minute and out there the next.
Let's just not jump to any conclusions and stick to our plan. There's 40 million quid in here.
Hey, what happened? 3 girls washed up on the beach or something.
How do you guys know each other?
John and I work together, and they are brothers.
Wait! What are we gonna say we're doing here?
Bachelor party?
I hope you weren't planning your truths and lies.
That would be cheating. And you know what we do to cheaters.
It's happening again.
What are you looking for?
What happened? To her bracelet, she's dead.
Who are you and what the are you really doing here?
We lost time!
Would you mind if I stayed with you? Your brother kind of gives me the creeps.
What did you decide to have your party here?
So no one could ever find us.
What have you done?
It has been a while since we dipped into the mailbag, but we will when Outtakes with Rick's Reel continues right after this. Say, a few episodes ago, I told you the House of Fairuza, sponsor of the show, was expanding, and boy, they have. Say hello to Riley and Eli. These are two of the newest barbers at House of Fairuza Barbershop, and for a limited time, if you book with Eli or Riley, either book in advance or walk in, your haircut is free. That's Sam's way of introducing you to his new staff. Now, Heather is also going to join soon. We'll tell you more about her on the next show and have her picture as well. But for now, it's Eli and Riley. Get a free haircut. Either walk in or make a call, but you better hurry because this introductory offer ends soon. The House of Fairuza, located at the corner of Drake Road and South Park Road. Stop in and see them today. I promised, and I deliver. Let's dip into the mailbag. Say we haven't dipped into the mailbag for a while, so when we got a few comments, I figured, well, we should do this once again. Our first one is from 77 Relayer. He was talking about my review for the movie called To Kill a Wolf. It was a movie I really liked. And he said, appreciated your comments. I look forward to seeing this movie at a theater near me. By the way, where do you teach cinema? Well, 77 Relayer, I think, comes from across the pond in the UK because he spells theater like I do. And he says, where do you teach cinema instead of film? So we kind of get it away there. Got to tell you, 77 Relayer, I am retired. And I don't teach anymore, except for the little snidbits you are privy to on this show. My review of a Jurassic Games Extinction brought several comments, mainly because that review had two movies in it. It had Jurassic Games Extinction, and I tied it in with the new Jurassic Park Rebirth. So we have user EN, and then a whole lot of numbers, who wrote and said he didn't like the plot armor. The dinosaurs, now he's talking about Jurassic Park Rebirth, the dinosaurs pose no threat to the characters set to return in the next movie. Yes, they chase them around a bit, but it's like they didn't even try. You know, I agree with you, and I got to tell you, user EN, that there's another movie out there called Primitive War, and I'm going to talk about that on the next show, and I think it's been a while. Let's check out the BizBuzz. Also, got another one from Jurassic Games Review that I wanted to tell you about. Thanks for watching and reviewing Jurassic Games Extinction. And this one is from Ryan Belgart. He was the writer and producer and director of the movie. So it's always nice when you hear from those guys. Thank you for letting me watch your movie. It was a pretty good movie. And finally, we have a comment from Maple Bob. We've had him on the show before. And Maple Bob was writing about Superman, my review of Superman. He says, I like the old goofy Lex Luthor from the 70s. Dude, are you talking about Gene Hackman? Goofy? That was epic. Come on. He says, I don't mind the industrialist Lex, but it takes a little bit of the bite out of him. Yeah, I'll go with that. But I did like Nick Holt in the new version. I thought he was a lot better than Jesse Eisenberg. And that is our mailbag for this week. Let's get on to some more reviews, shall we? And we got to bring Rex in here. After all, it is his show. You know, this movie, Somnium, is billed as a sci-fi horror film, but that, folks, is a ruse. This is basically a pro-woman, anti-male propaganda piece that is laden with coming-of-age stereotypes. Now, Gemma, who is played by Chloe Levine, is struggling in her menial jobs, but she really wants to be a star. Unfortunately, every time she nears her dream, a grotesque monster appears and attacks her. Now, of course, you know there is no monster. It is merely the embodiment of her own fears, and once she conquers them, all of her dreams will come true. Please. Let's peel back the veils of time, back to the early Cretaceous period, and check in with the nation's first and only prehistoric film critic, Rex Reel.
Somnium is written, directed, produced by Rachel Kane, proving once again that women cannot effectively produce horror films. The horror for Gemma is her own emotional foibles. The horror for everyone else is having to watch this horrid waste of time.
Starring in this movie, along with Chloe, are Will Peltz, Peter Vack, Jonathan Shake, and Brez Vannon as the monster. Lance Coons and Kent Lamb handle the camera work and the editing, respectively. They do yeoman duty on this job. The best thing about this movie is that it was shot in Savannah, Georgia. And it's always nice to see that charming old city.
I saw you're now hiring someone out front. Looking for a job, and I'd take anything at this point.
This position has been a bit of a nightmare to fill. We call it our sleep sitter.
Sleep sitter?
Good evening, and welcome to Somnium. We understand this process might feel uncomfortable, but rest assured, our team of professionals have you well on your way to a beautiful transformation.
Please just let me go!
Lie back, relax into a sleeping position, and allow us to make your wildest dreams come true.
Seems like we got another bad film to talk about. When Outtakes with Rex Reel continues right after this. Another sponsor of our show is Gabriel Mastracci and his art. I'll tell you what, he just finished up the Fairfax Comic-Con, and later this month he'll do the Oktoberfest down in Lovettsville, Virginia. This is a great place, if you're in the area, a great time to stop in and see some of his work. Here's a couple of his latest drawings that he has done. These are really kind of cool. And you can get them both in the black and white and in the color versions. And of course, don't forget his official dinosaur coloring book. This thing is pretty amazing. I know a lot of people that have picked them up and just enjoy the heck out of drawing and coloring these pictures. So the book is available online. Here's how you can get it. And the public appearances are coming up. Next one is in Lovettsville, Virginia. And hopefully, I'll be down there for that. Hopefully, we will see you there. Gabriel Mastracci Art. Not only his art, but he does branding and marketing as well. Give him a call. Check it out today. You know, when I read the synopsis for this movie, I thought, well, this could be kind of interesting. Oh, boy. It's from Breaking Glass Pictures, and I got to tell you, folks, this movie is just awful. It's called 3 Days or Else. It is written and directed by Ralph Sink, and he pens a script that is a carbon copy of the Progressive Playbook. He utilizes second-rate actors spewing stilted woke dialogue through a tinny, very hollow sound system, disguises it all with the assassination of a pro-abortion politician. There's so much agenda in this thing. Sink said, and this is a quote, "This is the most creative writing I've done." No, it isn't. Sorry, that's PR hype. It's exactly like listening to one of the speeches from The Squad. It just turned it into a script. The film stars Mikhail Freeland, Sam French, Rick Watson, and Cole Springer. Now, the film is presented in a series of interviews, much like these real crime TV shows. So the production values are not high on this at all. In fact, I'll tell you how bad it gets. One of the few action scenes features two cars driving around a residential neighborhood at about 25 miles an hour, which is the speed limit, but they put in the background sounds from like an auto race in the back to make it... No, it's bad, bad. Listen, if you wake up every morning and you cry because Donald Trump is president, then you'll probably like this movie and the story it tells. But if you're a normal person, wow, this one is a waste of time.
Wow. It couldn't have been more than 3 seconds between shots. Couldn't see him getting off that second one, let alone hitting the target with it. No way.
So what are you gonna do, Ty?
Well, I'm gonna go talk to him. Tonight. First, did you shoot the senator?
No.
So what do you think? Because I got alarm bells going off in my head. I mean, he would have to be Buffalo Bill to pull off that kind of shooting.
I'll tell you what I'm thinking. So the FBI's riding my like a borrowed mule. They consider it open and shut that Osborne did it, and did it alone.
Unbelievable.
Haven't heard the worst of it. They want to take over the whole case. They want to charge him under federal statute, and they want to try him in federal court, cutting us out completely.
When is this supposed to take place?
Transfer? 3 days.
3 days. Man, I'll be amazed if they can even get the paperwork done in that amount of time.
Oh, they'll get it done. They're driven. They will be here to get that prisoner in 3 days, come hell or high water. Either we find something to contrary, he's toast.
What do you know about the Knights of Goliad? It's a racist clique.
What do you mean?
That goes back in history. Y'all know what the Texas Revolution was about?
Texas independence, wasn't it?
Officially, yeah. But it was actually about maintaining slavery in Texas.
You need to adjust your expectations about people. You need to lower them.
So are you saying I shouldn't trust my friends?
Stop the car! Now, here's what's gonna happen. You are going to produce that prisoner, and you are going to hand him over to us. Because if you don't, these men and I, we are going to give you hell, the likes of which you have never seen or even imagined.
Oh. You mean like this?
Hold it!
It's been a while. Let's check out the BizBuzz. Say, I want to fill the biz buzz with what I'd like to call like a kind of an overload of movies. These are movies that, we just don't have time to do the review for them, but I want you to know that they're out there and that you can certainly eyeball them. The first one up is The Bad Visitor 2. Now, those of you that remember my review on Bad Visitor 1, you'll be happy to know that the second one pretty much follows in the same milieu. It follows the events of the first film. You remember David, who was played by Omar Rogers, and Vanessa, who was played by, boy, this name always gives me a hard time, Angela Thea Carter. Well, they attempt once more to move into a secluded lake house, but something nasty is still lingering there. Here's a look.
When somebody lose somebody they love, it's no telling that they can't handle it. That's when you see their true colors.
He's a very lucky man. He was stabbed 3 times, missing his vital organs.
We'll get you home and get you together.
Something just don't add up. You know your cousin, Mila. Ain't no telling what she got herself into. Somebody gotta pay. They gonna get theirs.
I can't even sleep right now.
As soon as you kick your feet up and you get comfortable, somebody gonna want some get back.
What you got cooking up?
It is all my fault.
He disappeared the night he came to my house.
You know you can't trust them quiet ones. That woman probably got money on all our heads. In the name of Julie, baby. Yes.
And here's another horror film building up for Halloween, which is just around the corner. This is a rather blood-soaked tale called The Lizzie Borden Game. We start off with a secluded castle where a bunch of people get together for Friendsgiving. You remember from Seinfeld, the Friendsgiving thing? Yes, but now, all of a sudden, the friends start disappearing after they decide they're going to play this stupid little game called the Lizzie Borden Game. Well, it brings back, guess who? Lizzie Borden and her axe. Here's a look.
Lizzie Borden took an axe, gave her mother 40
article? They still haven't found those 2 girls. Do you remember playing that game when we were kids? What game? The Lizzie Borden game.
Oh, the Lizzie Borden game. I used to play that with my brothers on Halloween.
You said this thing's a game, right? So how do you play?
What is it?
I think it's just Mom.
What?
I don't want anyone else to die because of me. Are you crazy? We have to finish the game. Kyle is dead. I have to call the police.
What's the worst that could happen playing a stupid Halloween game?
And finally, I don't believe this one. I can't believe this found a cult following, but it did. Do you remember the Thunderbirds on TV? It was a really bad puppet show, but apparently it found a cult following and people love it, so they have taken 2 episodes of the Thunderbirds, Trapped in the Sky and Terror in New York City. These are considered to be 2 of the better episodes from the TV show. They've put them together as a movie, and they've restored them in 4K. I'm telling you, you'll see the strings and everything. I don't understand the appeal, but here it is, the Thunderbirds.
3. We're not gonna make it. We're running out of runway. 2. Down. 1. Thunderbirds are go.
Okay, boys, that's the brief. It's our first assignment, so make it good. Gordon, Allen, stand by on the firefighting equipment.
Right, Joe. Get on that camera. We're gonna get that story of the year.
3, 2, 1, 0. Fire!
I don't understand it. Something must be wrong while losing height.
Here she comes.
Passengers will be subjected to radiation exposure.
Look, there are 600 people up there with about 40 minutes to live. Now, you can't help them, but I believe we can.
She's coming down. Right on top of us.
Fire flash. Overshoot. Overshoot. The wheels, they've collapsed.
Oh, I can see it. I'm going to try and get nearer.
It doesn't look too hopeful. All right, International Rescue. But I just hope you know what you're doing.
Thunderbirds are go.
I have a lot more movies to talk about, but they're going to have to hold off until the next episode. We are fresh out of time. For those of you wondering about my political career, which I alluded to on the last 2 shows, you can now look up FOF on both Facebook and Truth Social and follow me there. And now that you have learned what you have learned, here endeth your lesson.